Good morning everyone, I'm Andrew, I'm one of the conservation rangers here at Hobsons Bay City Council, and today we're going to look at a couple of wattle trees, or acacias as they're botanically known. This tree behind me here, we know this is a silver wattle, or Acacia dealbata is the botanical name for it. The first thing, or the main thing you notice about this tree, is the actual leaves it's actually got. They've got these, say like feathery, they're called bipinnate leaves, but feathery type leaves. And one of the things we're going to look at today is that, and all wattle trees, they actually begin with leaves like this. But as they get older, a lot of the leaves actually change over time. So what we're going to do now is, we've seen what these ones look like on this silver wattle. We're going to have a look at another wattle on the other side of the path here that actually has totally different looking leaves. Here we are, over at the other side of the path, and over here we've got what we call a Blackwood, or Acacia melanoxylon. There's another plant down here at Newport Lakes, looks very similar, called a lightwood, Acacia implexa. Now you can immediately see by looking at this that it's totally different, or got a totally different type of leaf to that silver wattle that we were just looking at a moment ago. Now if we come down here, this is where it starts to get interesting. If we look at the young one down here, the plant growing up here, you can actually see it's got these type of bigger leaves like the adult tree does here. But then down low, or lower, you've got these feathery or bipinnate leaves down here that we saw on the silver wattle. And what's actually happening here is that when the plant is young, it actually starts off with these feathery or bipinnate leaves because they're actually a very, very good way of the plant getting nutrients and moisture into it, so it helps it grow. And then over time, these leaves start disappearing and it starts forming these other types of leaves, which we'll talk about in a few minutes' time. The other thing you'll notice while we're down here is, you can see like we've almost got like a forest of these little blackwood trees under here. Now we all know that most plants, they create seeds, they drop seeds on the ground, and new plants grow. These blackwoods, they also actually grow from the roots of the adult plant as well. What we didn't know many years ago at the time was that if we dug other holes or tried to plant other plants around near these blackwoods, or their close relative, the lightwood, then what we were doing was we were actually sort of knocking or chipping or damaging the roots of the adult plant. And then what would happen is we'd go back in a couple of weeks' time and there'd be these new baby plants start popping up from the roots. And after a while we realised that that was a really, really good way of these plants being able to reproduce and regrow, because instead of the baby having to try and find its own nutrients, moisture, everything out of the ground, it was basically just living off the roots of the adult plant. Now we're just going to pop back up and have a look at the adult plant for a minute. Now, here we are, what we talk about. You probably all think these are leaves here, and I suppose the way I've been talking it sounds like they are actually leaves. These things here are actually phyllodes. So phyllodes are a bit different to leaves in that the phyllodes are an extension of the stem, almost like of the leaf stalk if you like. It's a bit hard to show in here, but they're not a true leaf as such. And the main difference here is that most leaves, they have things called stomata or pores in them that allow moisture to be released from the plant. What these phyllodes do, however, though, is that they don't have the number of stomata or pores in them, so it reduces the amount of moisture that the plant loses. So in this hot, dry climate over here of Australia, certainly Western Melbourne, by having these things called phyllodes that don't release as much moisture, it actually means that the plant can actually survive better in the drier conditions. Now that's all we've got for you today on this one. Have a good day and we'll see you around in our parks.